Hey, check out this clip from the Pre-Patch podcast.
So Pax Day is a if Star Citizen is future sandbox MMO, this is complete the other direction and being a medieval sandbox MMO. It is a early access $40 price tag to get in. And you are so the I don't even know how to explain. The premise behind this is that you essentially join in, you are joined onto a server and you get for 40 bucks one plot of land. The
Yeah.
plot of land when you just saw up here was like a circular area that you could kind of say this is mine. And you can build that out, right? You could build, from what I know, as high up as you want to go, but if you want to go wide, right, to be able to control multiple area spaces of land, you need to either clan up with somebody or you need to buy their bigger versions of the game and
Yeah.
have more plots of land. It is a third person survival sandbox MMO is what they are calling it. Um, Everything in the world is crafted by people. So if you like everything as far as shops or
Buildings.
buildings
Yeah.
or whatever else. That is all people generated. I don't believe, don't quote me, but I don't think that there's actual NPCs as far as a store fronts or things. Like I think you have to,
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I think you have to build all of that and do everything and run it. You know, what this feels like is this feels like if Rust met Valhalla, not Valhalla,
Valheim.
Valheim meets like I don't know, like a sure, like a Star Citizen esque style kind of thing. Like be what you want, do what you want, whatever else, because you have skills that you level up, whether it be medic skills, whether it be cooking skills or whatever, and you kind of set
Yeah.
your own profession. Um,
And you have to you have to specialize too. Like it's not one of those things where it's like you can specialize in everything.
right,
You physically have to specialize in something in order to do it well. Right?
right.
Like you can be a jack of a lot of trades from what I understand, but it's not going to get you that far. Like this game is not a solo friendly game. Like you
Yeah,
will not get very far as a solo player from what I understand.
yeah. I'm trying
Um
to
Eh,
get. I don't know why
that's
this
not
is
which
like.
good.
which which kind
That's a
of
big problem,
sucks.
yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, which kind of sucks because you're looking at it like, well, I mean, one dude that I was watching, I can't remember who I was watching, but he did a video on it, and he was like, his buddy spent the weekend like trying to grind up his cooking. He spent like 100 hours or something like that trying to grind up his cooking, and he was in like a group of like 10 players, and like it was still a struggle just to do like cooking because you have to have like other people like if you want to push your cooking to like the next level by making a new stove, right? You have to have not only your experience in building that stove, but you have to have somebody to provide the tier 2 materials like
I
the
mean,
tier 2 steel or the tier 2 rock,
yes.
everything like that. So
I mean, yes and no. Like, I could absolutely go so grouping up is obviously going to make it better, but like I could go in and be like, okay, I got to go get this and I got to go get this. Like, I got to go, like, you could solo play it by being like a great, for instance, I need a kiln, right? Like, throughout my playthrough here, I was like, I need a kiln. Well, my plot of land that I set up, right, is on top of this hill, kind of surrounded so by like rocks and shit, so I don't get fucking attacked. And but my problem is well, I don't have clay anywhere around me, so like I need to go find clay to like get that, which is a normal survival MMO style of game. But the issue then becomes in this is like, okay, well, if you look around me, and I'm trying to find and like where you can see, so like now I'm out hunting, like if basically the entire like rest of these people or people around me built walls and built shit that like blocked off the clay, I I'm fucked. Like I don't like I can't do anything, right? Which is a typical again sandbox MMO, but there's no way for me to declare war on them to like go and like try to PvP them because I have to be in a PvP zone to do that right now.
sin with his fucking PvP, man.
Yeah, man, I like fucking ruining people's day. I don't what do you
So
want? Like
they
that's
can
what I
fully
enjoy.
lock you out of places. I know
Yeah.
V Rising had a mechanics where you
Yeah.
couldn't fully like lock people out of spots
Yes.
or like
But
regions and
at
whatnot.
least in V Rising you can also, you know, like you can attack their shit. You know what I
Openly
mean? Like
declare war. Yeah.
right, you can just like kind of
Well,
open PvP.
also in V Rising, you can do everything. It doesn't lock you behind skill progression. So like
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like I don't know. To me, from everything that I've read and from everything that I've been watching, people are not like they're giving it good reviews when it comes to like the visuals, and like
Eh,
the specific like gameplay of like it looks gorgeous. The building system in it is like bar none. It's great. A lot of people are saying that like if you want to build like that medieval fantasy, you know, castle of your dreams, this is a really good game for it, as long as you have the fucking player base to do it, as long as you have the friends to do that, because obviously you're going to need a lot of people to be able to do that, right? But the things that they're complaining about is like crafting feels really stunted, combat feels janky as shit, not great at all. Like they're saying it's hardly even worth doing
uh,
combat. Like it feels very
I mean,
unpolished, very there's not
eh,
enough oomph behind the attacks and everything like that.
sure.
um they're also saying like the gathering doesn't feel like at all like you're doing
It's just
anything,
there's so
but it's
okay.
early access. I will give it the it is early access. Like
Yeah,
I'm sure that a lot of
it's
that
also
will be ironed out,
$40.
but yeah, $40, and on top of that, when it releases, they want to charge a fucking
A sub,
a sub for it. Yeah.
right?
This looks like it has more content than Skull and Bones.
Oh,
At least.
okay.
I don't know about that, bro.
So I will say that like certain gathering is very quick.
Yeah.
Certain gathering is like cool. Like when I'm chopping a tree, like I feel like you see the little bar, it's chopping a tree, whatever,
Well,
right? I-
the one that they gave like examples of is like there's no animation, literally no animation for when you like skin an animal. You
yeah,
just
but I
you
don't
look at
see
the
to be
animal
100 to
and
be
it
100%
vanishes.
honest, I like it. I'm like, cool, this is quick, fast. Like, let me go in. I killed something,
Yeah,
boom, process it. I get all my shit. I move on to the next one.
absolutely.
But
I'm
but
with you there.
but for a game that prizes itself on realism when it comes down to like a lot of stuff that they're doing.
I mean, okay, let's take a step back with the whole fucking realism thing, because at the same time too, like it's when I die, I magically show up at this pay like this what do they call it, the Pax Dei stone, and then I can like soul pull my shit if it's in a bad
Oh,
spot to me, and then fucking
okay,
all of a
so
sudden get all my gear. I'm
it
just
has
saying like
game mechanics for
that
resurrecting that
well, it's
literally
just there's like
doesn't do
magical. I don't.
anything
I'm just saying
for.
like I'm all I'm saying is like
So
the whole
you're
realism.
saying that magically you're pulling that animal apart and just it vanishes
I'm
into
just
fucking thin
saying
air.
that let's say like let's not pick and choose where we want to say realism versus
I,
non-realism and whatever.
I'm just pointing out what other people
I
think, and I
know
agree with
I'm
it.
not talking
But
to you. I'm talking about the dumbasses on the internet. So
My
uh
my my thoughts on that kind of shit though is we're in a point in gaming where like there's so many modern conveniences, like a lot of open world style games, not necessarily survival or MMO style, don't even have like loot like animations or anything like that. I think is that kind of mechanic is getting phased out. It's being seen as more archaic and more time filly, and
yeah,
that like what some people like yourself would enjoy the skinning animations and whatnot, and they see that as a checkbox. I think more and more people are starting to see that as a negative.
like I like again for me, I love the fact that
Now with
cool. I
chopping
hit it
trees or mining and stuff like that, that makes sense. But it it would be weird if like you chop the tree and then you have to go around and gather each individual log.
right. Yeah, I mean, I like the quick element to it. Like it's fast, it's whatever else. Where I got turned off was, and where I see where everyone is kind of like, God damn, this grind is going to be miserable. Is like you go
that's
in
bad.
to do like tanning, for instance, right? And I will agree, like the crafting system, the like progression system through that doesn't make sense in the way that you would hope it would. But like you go in and you skin an animal, right? And then you go to take that animal parts, and then you have to turn that into uh rough leather. Then you take that rough leather back over to your tanning system and you put it in there, and you got to wait 20 minutes to get 10, right? So I have to build fucking 50 of these things to, if I'm a singular person playing, to be able to then get you know enough leather to be able to make myself a piece of gear, right? Like it's that system. I'm kind of like, man, y'all really like, you went fast with all this shit, but then the system there to get like, armor and stuff like that, you slowed the fuck down so much. That
Yeah.
feels very like artificially like lengthened or made to be like, hey, I just want to make sure like this is only, which to be fair, They said this is a game to be played with people. Like this is not like literally in their thing. It goes, do not solo out by yourself. You know, this is meant to be played with other people, which for me sucks because like I said it yesterday, I want to like I do like the game. I think it's fun. And I
Well,
enjoyed it, but I want people to play with. Like
yeah. Well, and the thing is like it's I don't know, man. It's very weird because like when they released it into early access, this was literally I think
today's
today or
two
the
days
other
ago.
day. No, it was a couple days ago. Yeah. But previously to that, they released like an outline of like what this game is, right? And their head was like, it's not a theme park, it's not a survival game or a medieval simulator. It is also not a fast paced game since there are no levels, resources won't be immediately surrounding players, and it's not a single player game. Though there is enjoyable solo content and players can play with a clan, it's built to be encouraged to encourage group play, and its harshest corners cannot be taken alone. But then it also is, he says, we strive to build with Pax Dei. What we strive to build with Pax Dei is a living, breathing world, a world that comes alive through the actions of its players working together or against each other. So, like, to me, I understand where they're trying to go down with that route. Like, they want to limit you in progression, and they're trying to push you into playing with groups. But at the same time, I've played those games before, right? I've played Mortal Online, which was exactly like this. And Mortal Online was very, very brutal, very, very unrewarding when it came to like solo play, right? You had to have a group, you had to have multiple people, right? Um, and it just became too much of a grind over time,
Right.
right? Like just like you said, there were times where it was like you had to have, you know, 18 fucking people in order to do one thing, and not that's while yes, that's like a creative direction that they're going down. I'm not sure how successful they're going to be in
Well,
today's
that was
market
going to be
with
my
that.
question to you guys. Do you think, because we all play MMOs, right? We all love we Final Fantasy 14, WoW, right? We've played survival. We're all multiplayer players. Do you think that something like this, because this is very remnant of like what Chad is saying, old school
Like
RuneScape,
old school
right?
RuneScape,
Old
yeah,
fucking Ultima, like EverQuest. Like these are
yeah.
games that like required people to be on. Like, do you think something like this, and let's not even take into consideration the dumbassery of charging a fucking monthly fee. Do you think it's a game like this could survive, and can really stay afloat?
I I mean, I think it can, but it's going to be a very niche player base, right? Like they're going to have to rely on that niche player base. If they if but it like if they can't make it a little bit more accessible for like solo players or at least like small groups of players, then yeah, I don't think it will. And on top of that, again, like you said, like making a like an MMO like this and then adding a subscription to it. I'm not sure. Do you have to pay the subscription in order to play the game, or
It
can does the
Yeah, I
subscription give
mean,
you certain things?
no, it is a so they they come out and say it a couple times of being like, "Hey, we don't know what the future holds for the payment method or what the game is going to look like. It may
That's
be." Which
wow.
I'm like, that is a
That
fucking
just
joke.
yeah,
Like,
that's legitimately like legalese speak for yeah, we're really not sure if
right.
they're gonna like the subscription, so we might break it off, we might
Yeah,
not later on, who
but
knows?
it does say that like if you buy the game now, you will get the game for sure. I'm like, well, you can't. Are you get to fucking take it away from me?
Oh,
I mean, what are you,
thanks, appreciate
Ubisoft?
it.
Like, but you might take the game. Like, you will get the game, and then you will get a certain amount of time. That's like literally their words. They didn't tell you how much time. They didn't tell you. Like, they're just like,
Yeah,
you'll get
that's
a
very
certain amount of
worrying.
time. It's weird.
Yeah.
Personally, but I mean,
I don't know. I'm of the opinion I don't like as if they continue down this route and this is what we get with a subscription, no, it won't survive.
yeah, because I also don't
Yeah.
know. Oh, go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
No, I just wanted to piggyback. I feel like with the way gamers are these days and the turnover and how many of these style games are coming out constantly, forcing like the multiplayer reliance is going to kill off the game because people that might enjoy the game, if they can't progress in it fine solo,
Well,
they're gonna leave for other things.
let me give me 1 second. Mortal Online 2, right? This is a brand new game that just released. So Mortal Online, it's this is right up the alley, right? Like this is essentially Pax Dei looks a little bit better and it has different systems in it, but this Mortal Online is basically what Pax Dei is. It's a MMO, very very heavily reliant on group play, right? Very very heavily reliant on that kind of stuff. It's been released since I believe release date was like January of 2022, somewhere around there, 2023. No, January 25th. Yeah, the 25th of January 2022 was when it released. They have 816 people playing the game right now on Steam TV.
Ooh. That's
So
that's rough. That's not enough to sustain an MMO.
And you know that like and again, the game Mortal Online 2 is exactly like Pax Dei in a lot of senses. They have a subscription fee that you have to pay, right? Like that's their previous one, Mortal Online 1. You have to pay for the game, and you have to pay for a subscription for Mortal Online 2. Yes, so that it's very very similar in a lot of aspects. They have not done well, right? Like they in with all intents and purposes, they have failed. I'm surprised they're still going.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
So that I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt. Obviously, the different games, different genres. This game is more of like a survival game, whereas that game is more of like a traditional MMO, right?
One thing to also keep in mind with this game is what you're seeing here on chat or on screen now is as I'm crafting, you have fail stacks, or you can fail, not fail stacks. You can fail. So as you like, you're seeing the red bar come down again. There's a little hash mark in that bar onto my crafting. If my blue bar goes above that hash mark and then the red bar hits it, I'm good. I crafted it. It's great. If that red bar goes below that or past that hash mark, then I fail. And so now my materials, you get some materials, but you do not get all the materials back. So now all of my time is now also wasted as a single player person, because
that's interesting.
I have to go like get all that gear back, get all the materials back and stuff like that. Which again,
Celia in our chat is also saying that it gets even worse. The crafting system requires you to read books, but they don't really give you a heads up as to like the specific order of books you have to read in. And nothing tells you where to get those books. So like it's one of those things
which
where it's like
I don't even mind necessarily that.
I don't necessarily mind that as well, because like it's one of those things where it's like once one person finds out about it, everybody's gonna know about it, right? Like the sense of exploration in these types of games is one thing that draws me to these types of games. But in a sense, like I think that they're making things a little too difficult. And I could be wrong. I've never played it
too difficult for individual people, because I want like. Again, I rolled up on someone's base. They had their chest all sitting there or whatever else, unprotected. And I'm like, cool, let me bash that fucking shit in and take their stuff. Right. It doesn't let you do that. Like it's just, nope, can't do it. And I'm like, well, what's the point of having all these plots of lands and, whatever else? And it doesn't exist. Like, it's just like, well, you can't, it's just so that it almost feels kind of like they're kind of saying, hey, if you buy more plots of lands or you play with more friends, well, then fuck you. You get, if you're a single player, then here's the finger, because you're not as cool because you don't get to play with all these other people. And it's kind of like, well, that's not cool. Like maybe I want to be a solo person out in the world, going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
So,
which is sad because like Celia's saying, it's going to be rough for them to have a thriving player base with this type of gameplay. In my opinion, they'll have a really good release, obviously, because people are going to be drawn to it for the graphics and everything like that, right? But I think. Yeah, I think within a year or two they'll be right there with Mortal at like 500 players.
Yeah,
max.
I don't know. I mean, again, I enjoyed it. I had fun with it, but I may keep playing it for a little bit longer. But it's tough. And for $40, it's definitely very tough.
It's and a sub, like not just $40.
$40. And I mean, $40 right now. $40 right now.
Right now,
and a sub. All right,
and the possibility of a sub, I should say.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed the patch notes. And if you want to see more from the Pre-Patch Podcast, don't forget to check us out live every Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, or at anchor.fm/Pre-Patch Podcast, or wherever podcasts are listened to. Hope to see you there. Much love.